Hello and welcome to another Google Academy on Air. My name is Dave and today we're going to be talking about how you can drive quality leads with Google Ads. So let's take a quick look at today's agenda. We've got a good one for you. So we're going to be looking at how you can develop a holistic lead gen strategy. And then we're also going to be looking at how we can measure lead quality, because we all know now that quality is the key to lead gen success. It's no longer just a volume game. We're also going to be looking at how we can optimize towards some important touch points. We're going to be taking a quick look at also how we can discover new and quality leads. And then finally, we're going to be running through how we can convert these leads into new customers. And then with our last few minutes, we're also going to be running through a Q&A. So please feel free to add your questions to the question box or the comment area. And hopefully we will have enough time to get through a good few of them at the very end. So let's kick things off. Firstly, we're going to take a quick look at develop a holistic lead gen strategy for your business. So how we can actually hope to do that. So the lead gen journey involves finding high quality leads and then ultimately transforming these leads into loyal customers. So let's just take a look at what the user journey looks like from start to finish. So it starts out by a user researching and looking for the product or service that they're actually interested in purchasing. They might check out some reviews, they might talk to their friends, hear through word of mouth what sounds like a good option for them. Next up, they're going to try and discover your product or service, or even your competitors' products or service. With all of these new brands and companies that they've identified, they're going to start getting in touch and start comparing prices. And when we talk about getting in touch, typically these are through the general channels of calls and forms on the likes of your websites. Finally, once they've found the most competitive price or the product or service with the best or most unique selling point, they're going to finally close that deal and purchase that product or service. And then we would hope that they actually become a loyal and long-term customer. So let me just give you a quick example that I've had in the last week of this exact journey. Found out on Monday that my car insurance was actually up for renewal. So before I renewed it, I wanted to make sure that I was getting the best price and also the best terms on that car insurance. So what I did was I started by researching and just in general Google searching some other car insurance options out there, reading reviews from other users and just getting a general sense for what would be a good option for me. I then went on and I discovered two main car insurance providers that I wanted to follow up with and get quotes from. So I went on to both of their websites. In one case, I rang the insurance company and got a quote from them. And in another case, I actually used their online quotation form. So I had two quotes roughly of the same price, both offering slightly different terms. I found one actually suited me a little bit better in terms of the terms that it was offering. So what I did was I went ahead and I confirmed with that company that I would like to purchase a car insurance policy off them. And now I'm pretty happy. I've got my car fully insured. But that's just an example of how you can go through the user journey for a lead gen business from start to finish. So that'll give you a good idea of what we're looking to build a strategy around today. So one of the main things that we're going to be focusing on is improving the lead quality. Because if we improve this lead quality, we will ultimately be able to improve our return on ad spend. So take, for example, our current approach here. With this approach, we're driving 100 leads. Our sales team are qualifying roughly around 40 of these leads. And then in the end, we end up with 10 final sales from this. So overall, with this approach, we're getting a 10% conversion rate from the start of the original number of leads that we were actually able to drive. However, if we were able to actually focus on improving that lead quality, what we would hope to do is drive 100 leads, have our sales team qualify roughly the same amount of leads, or if not more, because they're actually better qualified leads or they're better quality leads. But what we would hope to happen in the end is that we actually increase the conversion rate. So we increase the final number of sales that we've got from that original number of leads. So our final sales is 30 with our renewed focus on lead quality. And what that means is that our conversion rate goes from 10% all the way up to 30%. So what does this mean for the business? Improving lead quality helps you to close more sales, which will ultimately help you to actually improve your return on ad spend, as well as reducing organizational costs of qualifying the leads themselves. And think about it as well. If your sales teams are taking 100 leads and these leads are now of better quality than they were before, and they're able to sell more product or services based on these new higher quality leads, it's probably going to make them a lot happier as well. So you're probably going to have a happier sales force as a result of it. So what we're observing from talking to advertisers and from talking to lead gen companies within this type of business is that there are two main focuses now. So lead gen advertisers want to improve lead quality without actually sacrificing lead volume. So in 70% of lead gen marketers actually wish to improve lead quality or the quality of their leads, and they say that this is the #1 business objective for their company. However, 55% of lead gen marketers also say that at the same time as improving the quality of the leads, they also want to increase the overall volume of the leads. So what we're seeing here is that there is definitely a renewed focus on improving the quality of the leads while also maintaining, if not actually increasing, the overall number of the leads that we're getting. Now, there's a number of ways that we can actually do this, okay? In order to have a successful lead gen strategy, we need to ultimately take a holistic approach. And for any of you who have watched an Academy on Air in the past or have observed a Google presentation, you're absolutely right. There is going to be a 4-part framework coming your way. Now, what does our framework look like today? It starts off with measure. Now, I'm biased. I think that this is actually the most important part of the framework, and probably measurement is one of the most important things you can do on Google Ads as well, because it sets the right foundation for your Google Ads. And I say I'm biased because I'm a measurement and attribution specialist. So for me, this is absolutely paramount for any advertiser in the business. You need to make sure that your measurement is set up and it's on point. Because with this measurement, what it's going to allow us to do is optimize towards higher quality leads. And this is where the rubber meets the road. And we're actually going to be able to improve the quality and the volume of sales that we end up getting. We're also going to be running through how you can improve your discoverability, how you can introduce more prospective clients to your business, and how you can take these prospective clients and also convert them. So I will be running through some hacks, tips, and tricks in order to improve your conversion rate, both on Google Ads, but more importantly, on your own website as well. So we're going to start with measuring the quality of leads. So the fastest way to secure improved lead quality is actually by improving your measurement. So what do we mean by that? I'll take this example here. If we have very few, or even in some case bad measurement signals, what's going to happen here is that we're going to have poor or low quality leads. Now, if we look to optimize on these leads and increase the volume of these leads, what are we going to end up with? We're going to end up with more low quality leads, right? The inverse of this is if we can focus on actually improving our measurement signals, improving the quality of these leads so that we're actually seeing some good quality leads, and then we increase the volume of these leads and allow smart bidding to get to work here and optimize towards these, we're going to be seeing more quality and better quality leads, and hopefully at a higher volume as well. So again and again, the questions that I hear from lead gen advertisers and businesses is, what exactly should I be measuring? So before we go into what you should be measuring, because remember, every business is different and there's always going to be a different action that you're going to have to consider measuring. And we are going to be working with our tried and tested measurement funnel here to really drive this home and kind of give you guys a visual of what you should be measuring. But I want to draw your attention to the left-hand side of the screen here, because these are two imperative dimensions that you need to consider as well, and also that Google can drive value on. So Google Ads offers an offline conversion tracking component, as well as an online conversion tracking component, as well as that offline conversion tracking dimension as well. Let's kick things off at the very top of the funnel. So these are kind of like the softer conversion actions that we would hope to drive, such as engaged visitors. So measuring pages visited. We could be measuring newsletter signups, brochure downloads, or what I'm seeing a lot more of nowadays is actually white paper downloads as well. You know, those white papers when you go onto a lead gen website, you put in some details to get, in some cases, a really thought-provoking and well put together brochure or download that you can actually use and learn from. Great way of actually generating leads for your business. All of these would be things that we can actually measure using Google Ads conversion tracking online. And these would typically sit at the very top of our conversion funnel. As we go down our conversion funnel, but also staying with what we can measure online with Google Ads, we've got leads. So again, tried and tested in the lead gen space, we've got phone calls, which we can measure using the Google Ads forwarding number, calls from websites, call as conversions, and we also have form submissions. So again, measuring when we have a successful lead submission through a web-based form. So these are, again, the upper half of our funnel. Everything here can be measured using Google Ads online conversion tracking. However, now we have the offline dimension, okay? And by offline, what we mean here is that it's not necessarily offline actions as much as these are actions that can actually be measured with your own or even a third-party measurement structure, such as a CRM tool. So for instance, here we have qualified leads, we have marketing and sales qualified leads. And what we would do here is we're probably measuring these leads, or the number of qualified leads that we get within our CRM system. Now there's hundreds, if not thousands, of different CRM systems. I've seen people use everything from Google Sheets or Excel sheets all the way up to the enterprise level Salesforce solution, which can be expensive, but is also a good option depending on how many leads that you're actually driving. So what we can hope to use here is kind of amalgamate our offline data with what we're seeing on our CRM system with our online data, and actually import these back into Google Ads for optimization. So as I was saying, we would have marketing qualified leads, or else leads qualified by our sales teams. That is something that we can definitely measure using a CRM system and then importing it back into Google Ads. And then finally, we have the real deal here, and this is actually where we see a lead being closed and a final sale. So this is what we really want to be tracking here, I guess, and if possible, what we want to be optimizing towards as well. So imagine in my car insurance example, the closed deal here will be representing when I actually purchased that car insurance policy. So something that's probably being measured by that insurance company offline. So let's look at the second dimension here, which was offline conversion tracking. So what's funny here is offline conversion tracking is a relatively old solution when you look at it in the context of Google Ads. It's roughly about 5, if not more, years old, okay? However, for me, and what I'm seeing is it's actually one of the most critical measurement solutions that we can offer to lead gen brands and businesses. And I feel that every lead gen company actually should be using offline conversion tracking. So firstly, what is it? Offline conversion tracking will allow us to measure offline or otherwise untrackable conversion events up to 90 days after the click. And that 90 days is crucial. If we try to upload or import conversion events that are older than 90 days, we will simply see an error. So for your business, if you're able to track a conversion event, be it a qualified lead or a sale that is within 90 days from click to final conversion, this is definitely the product for you. So with these measured conversions, what we can do is actually import them directly into Google Ads. And this is what's going to allow us to gain a deeper and more granular understanding of how each online click drives offline actions through better reporting. What we can do then with that is distinguish between the clicks and the queries that have led towards our lower quality leads, and also the clicks and the queries that have brought the high quality leads. And this is really important because with this level of insight and granularity, we can make better budget allocation decisions as well as better bidding optimization decisions. That's why this is actually such a powerful tool for lead gen advertisers. So how does it actually work from both, I guess, the technical standpoint as well as the customer flow when they're actually landing on your website? It all starts with a click, as in any good user journey. A user comes through a Google ad, clicks on the ad, and at that point, Google will assign that user with what is called a Google Click ID or a G-CLID. Now, what is a G-CLID? A G-CLID is a unique identifier that allows us to link that customer with the original click that ultimately drove them to purchasing, converting, whatever the end action would actually be there. So this G-CLID is passed into the user's browser. The user then on the website, after clicking through the ad, they will go to the lead form, for example. They will enter their details into the lead form. The lead form will also capture that G-CLID from that user's browser. And once the user submits the lead form, we can actually pass that G-CLID or Google Click ID along with the rest of the user's details that have been captured in the form. For example, the name, the phone number, the email address, what they're actually looking for, along with the G-CLID into the advertisers or your CRM or backend database. Again, CRM here doesn't necessarily have to be an enterprise solution. It can be something that you just have linked from your website lead generation form. It could be as easy as a Google Sheets sheet that you're literally filling with the right template. Now, once your sales team have kind of activated and I guess called back these leads, what they'll be able to do is change the lead status within your CRM system, which we can then output or export in the correct format, which I'll be going through in a little bit more detail later. And then this data is actually imported directly into Google Ads. So the G-CLID and the conversion action, along with the conversion value, if necessary, is what we are importing into Google Ads. And that's what's going to allow us to both attribute that conversion back to a specific keyword or campaign and allow us to make a better budget allocation decision, or alternatively allow us to leverage smart bidding to start optimizing towards these higher quality leads. Because remember, these are leads that have potentially been qualified by the sales team that we're then importing, or alternatively, they're actually leads that have resulted in an end purchase or final conversion. So really, really valuable leads. And the signals that would be going with those leads would be of a much higher quality. And therefore, when we optimize using smart bidding, we will be optimizing towards better signals and hopefully getting better quality leads in the future. So, sorry, I've gone too far here. So here is an example of the conversion tracking template that you would typically expect to be able to import. This exact template is actually available from the Google Ads front end. So you can download this from the upload section of your conversion settings section within the Google Ads front end. Again, here are the mandatory fields that we need to have. So Google Click ID, absolutely imperative. We need to have this, otherwise it simply won't import the conversion details. And the reason why is because the Google Click ID is the key that links the final sale or the qualified lead with the click that actually drove that. What we will also have is the conversion name. So for instance, here we might be able to actually import multiple different types of conversions. So we might be importing our final sale alongside our qualified lead. So we might be importing a marketing qualified lead, a sales qualified lead, and then the final sale, all on the same Google Sheet, all on the same template, but we distinguish the different conversions using our conversion name. Next up, and kind of finally for our mandatory fields, is conversion time. Now, conversion time is imperative because it allows us to distinguish between when potentially a user who has converted multiple times, when we are importing these as multiple conversions. If we have different conversion times, this is what tells Google Ads that these were actually different conversions. If we import with the same timestamp, we will be importing essentially the same conversion, and Google will create an error which will refuse to upload that particular conversion. Now, a couple of things to bear in mind here. The conversion time is not the time of the click, okay? The conversion time is the time that the sale actually happened. So within the CRM system, what you are going to need to tell the CRM to do or modify it to do is to apply the timestamp of when the lead status changed to either the marketing qualified lead or to the final sale, when that actually went through. The second thing I want to draw your attention to is the timestamp here. I would highly recommend, if you're interested in going and adopting offline conversion tracking, that you read up on the Google Ads Help Center article, specifically on the timestamp, because this timestamp is a US-based timestamp, and therefore it may be a little bit more tricky for our brands and advertisers outside of the US in terms of formatting this. So just pay close attention to that. It needs to be formatted in a certain way, or else it won't actually be able to upload it into Google Ads, and we will see an error happen within the Google Ads front end. Also, one thing that is not mandatory but is highly valuable if you are considering using, for instance, a smart bidding solution such as target return on ad spend, it would be highly advisable to also import conversion value as a separate column. If we have conversion value, then we will be able to optimize using a smart bidding solution like target return on ad spend. So that brings me nicely on into how we actually optimize our measurements to drive these high quality leads. So what's important here is that you are bidding to your most important conversions, okay? And when I talk about the most important conversions, I'm talking about the conversions which are most closely reflecting the revenue that we're driving. So in this scenario here, what we're looking at is a closed deal, because the closed deal is what ultimately allows my business to make money, okay? So again, in the example of our car insurance company, it would be when a car insurance policy is actually bought. However, what I would say here is that you do need to balance when you are thinking about using a smart bidding solution and optimizing with smart bidding. You need to balance the conversion that you're going to optimize towards, so it being like a high value conversion or a more important conversion, with some of the basic requirements and recommendations for smart bidding. And they include, especially for target ROAS, the volume of conversion. So you're going to need, for TROAS, you're going to need a higher than 15 conversions in the last 30-day period for that individual campaign. So that's important to remember, because I mean, for our insurance company, it may be a case that they're only actually driving 10 different policy sales in an individual campaign. I'll be getting on into more detail into what they actually should be doing in a little bit. But an important consideration here is most definitely the conversion volume. For target cost per acquisition, as well as maximize conversions, you will actually be able to use 0 conversion volume per month per campaign. But for target return on ad spend, it's imperative that you have over that 15 per campaign for it to work well, and for it to even work better. Higher volumes will actually improve the performance of target return on ad spend. Also, what we need to be aware of here is that the conversion delay for your imported conversion needs to be below 21 days. So previously, I have said that it will only imported conversions will only import conversions within a 90-day period, and that's down to the fact that the Google Click ID, for privacy reasons, will only be stored for the 90-day period. However, when we're talking about smart bidding works better with fresher conversion data in order to improve some of the signals and to optimize towards these fresh signals and improve data. It needs to be within a shorter conversion period. So we would say below 21 days conversion period, or even 2 conversion cycles, depending on what your business conversion lag looks like. In terms of how you actually check what this conversion time lag looks like for your business within the Google Ads front end, you can go to conversions, which is in the tools tab. You can select search attribution reports, and then in the top left-hand corner, you'll see numerous reports, one of which include the time lag report. So within this one here, you can see that the user is actually selected from last click, which you'll see in the red. Personally, I would probably go with from first click, because from first click actually shows us what was the time delay from the time that a user clicked to the time that that user resulted into a final sale or a conversion. So in this case, we can see that we're using last click, but the average days to conversion is half a day. So we're seeing also that 60% of the conversions are taking place in under 1 day. What we would like to see is that over 90% of conversions are happening in under that 20-day period or 21-day period that we saw on the last slide. So you can see for this specific account, within 6 days, all of the conversions are happening. So that's making this this account a really good option for a smart bidding solution. So, as I mentioned earlier, it won't always be possible to actually optimize towards your imported conversions. What if, for example, my insurance company only drives 5 conversions, 5 conversions per month per campaign, and these conversions are our final policy sales? What do I do then? In this case, I need to take a more holistic view and actually look upper funnel. So I need to look at what are the conversion actions that I could be tracking, which are a little bit further up the funnel. And therefore, these conversions I would expect have higher volumes as well as a shorter time lag as well. So making these more suitable or more appropriate for a smart bidding solution. So within this example, if I wasn't able to use my final deal or my closed deal, I would probably look at optimizing towards a marketing qualified lead or a sales qualified lead. If I wasn't able to optimize towards that based on the smart bidding requirements, I would look again at maybe conversion actions that I haven't imported, but that I was tracking from the start, such as phone calls or form submissions. So in the event of if for instance, we want to actually optimize towards something, it's important that we're actually adding that conversion action into the conversions column. So when we add something into the conversions column, such as our imported conversion here, like our closed deal, we're going to remove everything else from the conversion column so that we're still tracking it and we can still record the conversion data there within our account, and we can view that campaign or ad group level granularity. But we're telling our smart bidding algorithm not to optimize towards that. Now, how we can actually include something in the conversions column is simply by following these instructions here. So going to the tools option within the Google Ads front end, clicking on measurement, under the measurement section, you will see conversions. You click on conversion, action, and then edit settings. And then finally, just select the box here for include in conversion column, or alternatively, if you're looking to take it out of the conversions column, you can just unselect it here. So we have a couple of different scenarios here to really kind of make this point vividly clear for you as to what you should do in different cases, okay? So scenario 1 we see that our company has a higher sales volume and a shorter sales cycle. So, for example, they're seeing their sales cycle is roughly 10 days long and they're getting approximately 100 conversions per month. These are the absolute perfect criteria for using smart bidding and optimizing towards our imported conversion, which in this instance is our closed deal. And the reason for this is the short sales cycle and the high sales volume. So in this instance, I'm going to be selecting the option for include in conversion column for my closed deal, and I would deselect include in conversion volume for all of the other conversion actions. Again, we're still going to be tracking this data and recording this data and possibly making budget allocation decisions based on this data, but we're telling our smart bidding algorithm to only optimize towards our closed deals, which we're importing. Scenario 2. So we've got a lower sales volume and a longer sales cycle. So probably not ideal for optimizing towards our closed deal, considering that it's a sales cycle of 3 months, as well as a sales volume of only 30 per month, and a click to marketing qualified lead of 7 days. So in this instance, because our sales cycle for the marketing qualified lead or sales qualified lead is significantly shorter than that of the final purchase, it means that we're going to add our marketing qualified lead or our sales qualified lead into the conversions column and tell our smart bidding algorithm to actually optimize towards this specific conversion action. We would move our closed deal from the conversions column out of the conversions column alongside our phone calls and form submissions. I would probably use the data on the closed deal information to make better budget allocation decisions and identify what campaigns and ad groups are actually driving those closed deals, and maybe allocate more budget towards those types of campaigns. But ultimately, we're telling our smart bidding algorithm to optimize towards sales qualified leads. So scenario 3, we're seeing kind of, again, less than ideal conditions for optimizing towards our imported conversions here. So in this instance, we see that we have a sales cycle of 3 months. So 3 months between the first click and the final sale. And we have a sales volume of roughly 30 per month. But our click to marketing qualified lead is actually 3 weeks, which is just kind of there or thereabouts, or even past kind of the ideal case for using smart bidding. So in this instance, we take our closed deal, our marketing qualified lead, and our sales qualified lead, as well as the other conversion actions such as engage visitors or white paper download, and we move those outside of the conversion column. We're still going to track it, but we're telling our smart bidding algorithm to only optimize towards phone calls and form submissions. So they are the ones that we are including in our conversions column. You might be asking, okay, so I previously had and was optimizing towards phone calls. So what was the point in this case of importing conversions at all if I'm not going to be optimizing towards them? The reason for that is that by having the imported conversion data, such as the closed deal or the sales qualified lead conversions within our Google Ads account, again, we're going to be able to see what keywords, what ad groups, what campaigns are driving those types of closed deals or those types of marketing qualified leads. And we're going to be able to make better budget allocation decisions off the back of that. Finally, scenario 4 is where we just have a no-go area and offline conversion tracking is not possible or feasible. For instance, if you're seeing that there's absolutely no way to import a conversion that is below the 90-day requirement for whatever reason, and for that reason we can't actually import conversions, in this case, we're going to optimize towards the next best, most important conversion action, which is, again, slightly up the funnel, but it's going to be our phone calls and our form submissions that we're tracking using online conversion tracking. We're also going to be tracking even higher, more upper funnel conversion actions, such as engaged visitors, but we would potentially look to leave that outside of the conversions column. So there are 4 main types of scenarios. What we need to decide now is what bidding strategy would actually work best for our business. So we have 3 main bidding strategy types. We have maximize conversions, which drive as many conversions as possible within your specified budget. What I would say here is if you are switching on maximize conversions, just make sure that you do actually take a look at what your specified budget is, especially on those legacy campaigns which have a higher than normal budget allocation, because for whatever reason our Google Ads wasn't able to spend that amount of budget. You can be certain that maximize conversions actually will spend that budget. So again, if necessary, revise your budget if you are using maximize conversions. Our second bidding strategy would be target cost per acquisition. So target CPA allows you to attain as many conversions as possible while also maintaining your target costs per acquisition. Finally, we have target return on ad spend. So again, this is probably our most advanced smart bidding solution, given the, I guess, number of conversions that it does actually require in order to implement it. So again, that is 30 conversions or over 15 conversions in a 30-day period on an individual campaign. So the goal of this smart bidding type is actually to get the highest conversion value possible at your target return on ad spend. What I would definitely be suggesting here is if you are interested in using target return on ad spend, again, make sure that you're importing conversion value. Conversion value is an optional column that you might add to your template or to your CRM output, I should say. But unless we actually use that conversion value column, we won't be able to optimize towards target ROAS. So it's an important consideration when you are modifying your CRM to export, that you are exporting the conversion value there as well. There are 3 main types of of smart bidding solutions that we would use on the likes of an imported conversion. So what we're going to move on to now is how we can actually improve our discoverability with potential and prospective customers, and how we can actually drive higher quality leads. So it's no secret, Google can help you find high quality leads who are most likely to convert. I'm going to be going through a couple of specific formats as well as targeting options, which will make it easier for customers to get in touch with you using the right Google Ads formats, and also targeting the right audience. So let's take a look at what these formats might look like, and what is the best way for us to leverage Google Ads solutions in order to make it easy for customers to actually get in touch with you and in order to drive more leads. So what I'm going to show you is probably our most lead gen specific formats. So firstly, we have call only ads. So call only ads do exactly what it says on the tin. They are an ad format which allow you only to call. So ideal for a advertiser who doesn't necessarily want to drive traffic to the website, but are well set up to actually manage the inflow of calls coming from customers. Potentially, they have a call center. Again, absolutely not necessary, but for a business who's looking to drive only calls and who's able to have a high conversion rate based off calls, this may actually be a good solution for them. Next up, we have call extensions. Again, call extensions are purely just an ad extension that allow you to call from the ad itself if you're on mobile. So we can leverage this call extension and actually track the number of calls that are coming in from these ads as well. So again, useful for any advertiser looking to drive the number of calls that are coming in to their business. It appears as an ad extension as well, whereas call only ads actually purely just appears as a click to call icon for a user to click and call off their phone. Last up, a relatively new ad extension, and that is our message extension. So the messaging extension is an interesting one in that we can present to the users an option to actually click to message your business. We can then link that message extension with an email address, which works really, really well in the instance that potentially you have a designated point of contact within your business to actually field these messages and reply to users in real time, making it a really seamless user experience and allowing users to actually get timely information from your business as well. So message extensions are definitely a good one, especially where we're seeing so many different messaging bots on websites to allow for the constant flow of dialogue between users and companies. Let's take a look at a brand new format, which is actually still in beta. If you want to hear more about how you can actually get onto this beta, you can talk to your Google Ads account manager. And these are the TrueView for Action formats. So you may or may not have heard about TrueView for Action. And essentially, these are the skippable pre-roll ads that appear before YouTube content, but are specifically looking to drive action and drive performance for your business. So the way that these formats actually work is that a user comes onto YouTube, they have the option to actually click for more information. So send me more info here. And what will happen is once they actually click on that send me more info, they'll see a drop-down form, which is pre-populated with the user's details already. So your name and your email address. The reason why that's pre-populated is that it actually pulls from your logged in account details. So again, making it a frictionless and fast experience for a user to actually receive more information just off the back of looking at your YouTube for Action ad. So that is how it works. And what we're going to look at now is how you can actually tailor your ads to your customers using something that you've probably heard a good bit about at this point, and that is smart creatives. So three main smart creatives that we have at the moment, two across search, one across display, and they are responsive search ads, dynamic search ads, and responsive display ads. So starting first with the RSAs, or responsive search ads. These are great because they allow you to supply up to 15 headlines or 4 descriptions as your assets. And then what will happen is responsive search ads will put together hundreds and thousands of combinations of these headlines and descriptions in order to identify what is the combination of ad that works best in terms of converting with users. So it will identify the highest converting combination and then optimize towards conversions using that combination of ad. Secondly, we have dynamic search ads. So dynamic search ads have been around for quite a while now. And these allow for a user to actually make a search on Google search. And what will happen here is that dynamic search ads will actually crawl through the website, and where the advertiser doesn't actually have a keyword in place to capture and present that ad, what will happen here is that the dynamic search ad will actually pull from the advertiser's website itself and populate and customize a headline as well as a custom URL or landing page that's relevant for that particular search. So auto-generating the ad with customized headline and directing that user to the most relevant landing page. So again, where I've seen this kind of work really well is specifically with kind of content-heavy websites. So you can imagine, for instance, with the likes of a travel agency who potentially has really, really good descriptions around all of the different travel options, itineraries, and holidays that they might have and they might be offering. And instead of trying to kind of build out the hundreds of keywords that would be necessary in order to try and capture intent for each of those different products or services, by leveraging dynamic search ads, you're kind of putting your content to work, and you're allowing Google to kind of crawl through that content and then present to the user the most relevant headline and landing page based on their search, which your keywords might not necessarily have captured. So then moving on to display, we have responsive display ads, which work a little bit like responsive search ads, only on display. So what you are providing is you're going to be providing your logo, you're going to be providing your headline, your description, and then logo, description, and headline. And what happens here is that Google will actually optimize again towards the best combinations. So you're talking about billions of combinations of these different assets, and it'll find the right combination that drives the highest conversion rate to your business. So in terms of reaching the right customer along the customer journey, Google Ads also offers some excellent targeting and audience options. So let's just take a quick look at what those audiences actually look like. In terms of expanding our reach, if our goal is to actually reach more customers, a really good one here is custom intent. So again, this is kind of sitting a little bit upper funnel, and what this allows us to do is target users who are actively shopping or actively searching for a product or service. And it does this by finding within specific groupings based on the URLs or certain keywords that you wish to target. So for instance, with insurance or travel packages or university programs, you will be able to put together custom intent audiences for to actually target. Next up, coming down the funnel a little bit here, so getting a little bit more targeted, we have similar audiences. So again, this is to increase your reach and reach new audiences that you previously have not managed to connect with. And you would use this by leveraging, for instance, email addresses or your remarketing lists, and telling Google that you want to find similar audiences to these particular lists. So really handy in terms of expanding your reach there. Next, when we are looking to re-engage users, so this one has been around for a while, and this is remarketing. So any users who have visited your website, a specific page on your website, or have carried out a specific action on your website. So if you can imagine, if my insurance company knows that I've converted because I've reached the thank you page of the policy that I bought, potentially they want to use me on that remarketing list and target that remarketing list if I was to come back and actually search for the likes of house insurance. So really good at re-engaging audiences and kind of identifying opportunities for upsell or cross-sell. And then finally, we have customer match. So again, sitting at the very bottom of our funnel, really good as well for lead gen advertisers who are capturing a lot of email addresses, because we will actually be able to use these email addresses to create a specific list. So Google will look to match these email addresses, create a list that we can ultimately then target with specific content within our ads. So great for kind of, I guess, promoting brand loyalty, getting current customers to upsell to a newer package or cross-sell to another package as well within our business. And again, really good for retention. So finally, we're going to look at how we can actually convert our new leads into customers. So this is moving a little bit away from Google Ads and kind of more around user experience, as well as how we can actually filter out spam or fraudulent leads. So how do we actually increase the conversion rate and get more qualified leads? So there's three things that we need to remember. We need to remember that you can refine your overall user experience to drive interested consumers to convert. You can also improve your web form to reduce low quality or incomplete submissions. And then you can put measures in place to prevent, as I said, the spam leads or fraudulent or abuse actions on your website. So firstly, let's take a look at user experience and how you can actually keep quality prospects engaged throughout the user journey on your website. So the first thing that we need to consider is the what, and that is placing a clear call to action above the fold. So what do we mean by call to action? In this example here, we see that your future starts today. Learn more about our courses and choose one that is right for you. So a really clear call to action, but more importantly, it's the first thing that I see. It's sitting above the fold in my eyeline. It's not something that I need to scroll to find out. This is pride of place within your UX on your website. So making sure that your call to action is crisp and snappy and is really kind of appealing for that user. Next up, we have the why. So this is going to be our value proposition, and our value proposition needs to be very, very clear. So why enroll today? Ranked top 30 university in 2018. So again, within this example, the value prop is very clear. It's giving me a good understanding of why I should actually go with this particular course provider. And it's, again, sitting above the fold for me. So I don't need to go looking for it. I don't need to scroll for it. It's right there. So I'm interested. Clearly, this provider does some good courses. I really want to find my future today. Let's talk about how I can actually go about that. And in terms of the how, you need to make sure that you're offering an easy path to connect with your user so that your user can actually connect with your business. And you can do this using a web-based form or allowing the user to actually call directly from your website. Again, in this instance, the path is really clear. I can see a button here that I can click on, which presumably will bring me to either a chatbot or potentially a web-based form that I can actually fill out and talk a little bit more about potential courses that I can avail of with this advertiser. So let's look at how we can prevent spam on your web-based form and on your website. And this is using, again, another tried and tested solution, which is reCAPTCHA. So reCAPTCHA has actually come a long way from its early days of trying to figure out and solve different puzzles on a advertiser's website or any brand's website, I should say. So we now have various versions of reCAPTCHA. The version that you're going to see here is what is called reCAPTCHA version 2. And this simply allows a user, as they are filling out your web-based form, to just click a box and confirm that they're not actually a bot or any sort of spam robot, what have you. So what's going to happen here is once I click on this, reCAPTCHA identifies that I'm not a bot. It'll allow me to submit the form, and then the lead will actually go through. If I'm not able to click the box because I'm a robot, presumably, what's going to happen here is that it won't allow that lead to go through. So time and time again, what I'm hearing from businesses is that their inboxes and their CRMs are just overflowing with spam leads. The issue with that is if we have spam leads and we're trying to optimize towards these as conversions, again, it comes down to garbage in, garbage out. So we're optimizing towards bad leads, and therefore we can expect to get more bad leads. So what we need to do is actually just completely prevent spam leads from reaching our inboxes and reaching our CRMs. And we can do this by implementing reCAPTCHA, which is a free-to-use solution. And you can simply find it by Google searching reCAPTCHA. And on the web developer docs and guides, there's some pretty straightforward, easy-to-use instructions on how you can actually implement that for your own website. So all of this together, we kind of are going to conclude with just a bit of a case study. Our case study is from US-based reCAPTCHA, which I believe are a precious metal reseller. But reCAPTCHA were actually able to increase the number of new qualified clients using machine learning, so using smart bidding, as well as first-party data. So they're actually able to increase the lead volume by 79% year on year, as well as increasing the overall conversion value by 6% year on year. And they did this by, again, focusing on high quality leads. So focusing on importing the right conversions, the high quality conversions, or the final purchases from their CRM system directly into Google Ads, and then leveraging smart bidding, or in what we see here, machine learning algorithms to actually optimize towards these higher quality leads to allow them to find more high quality leads and improve their overall conversion value. So a really good case study that we see here from Think with Google, I believe this is based on. So in summary, what's actually happening? What have we gone through? So in summary, what you need to do is measure offline conversions, because when we're measuring offline conversions, this is what's going to allow us to measure the high quality conversions that really we're going to want to optimize towards. We then bid towards these most important conversions. This is going to help us actually discover new leads. And then finally, we can convert these prospective clients into new customers. So with that, draws to a close kind of how we can actually hope to drive higher quality leads within this session of Academy on Air. We have a few minutes left now to go through the Q&A. So if you haven't got your questions in yet, I would suggest putting the questions in now. I'm going to take a quick look at some of the questions that we've got in here. Hopefully there'll be a few that I can answer. So one question I have here is the conversion time lag dashboard that I presented earlier available in Google Ads dashboard, or was it in a CRM system? So good question. The conversion time lag report is actually available within the Google Ads front end. So what you're going to need to do to find that is actually click on the tools icon, and then underneath measurement, you will see search attribution reports. You click on that, and then within the top left-hand corner of your screen, you'll be able to see a number of attribution reports. You'll see the conversion path report, as well as the conversion time lag report. Again, what I would recommend you doing is setting your conversion window to 90 days, selecting the conversion action also that you're hoping to optimize towards, and also selecting first click. So you want to be measuring from the time that a user first clicks on the ad to the time that they convert. And that's going to give you a good idea of the right conversion lag. Okay, what other questions do we have here? Okay, great. So a couple of questions are actually in here around offline conversion tracking and around how do we actually capture the G-CLID. So the G-CLID, firstly, is enabled by enabling auto tagging within the Google Ads front end. So what you're going to want to do here, first of all, is go into your account settings within Google Ads and just make sure that auto tagging is enabled. And this is what's going to allow us to actually apply the G-CLID to the user once they've clicked on our ad. So what happens here is that we also have to implement two different lines of code or tag on our website in order to capture this G-CLID. So both of these lines of code are actually available within the Google Ads Help Center. So if you Google Google Ads Help Center and then search for offline conversion tracking, you will see a full description of how you can actually implement this offline tracking solution. The two codes I mentioned, one goes at a site-wide level. You can use Google Tag Manager to implement this. And this particular code is going to hold and store the Google Click ID in the user's browser. And it's going to allow us to actually follow that user across the website. And then the second line of code gets put directly into your lead form or your website-based form. And you also need to create a hidden field in that form. So the reason why we have two tags here is the second tag actually captures the Google Click ID from the user's browser, which we were created with the first code, and it will hold the Google Click ID in a hidden field that your user won't actually see, along with the user details that they've just inputted. And then once they click submit, all of that details will go directly into your CRM system. And what we would expect you to do then is format that in such a way by using the template that's available in the Google Ads front end. So download that template, make sure that you're formatting your CRM output in accordance with that template. And that's what's going to allow you to import it directly into Google Ads. Okay, let's see what else I have up here. So is the Google Click ID a default parameter, or do you have to include it in your tracking template? Again, the Google Click ID, you don't have to include in your tracking template. So I guess that would be a default parameter. It's activated by enabling auto tagging within your Google Ads. And then it will automatically apply the Google Click ID, which looks like 100 numbers or up to 100 characters. It's a unique identifier, and then that sits within the URL when the user clicks on the ad. So you don't need to include it in the UTM parameters or within a tracking template. Okay, that brings to a close. Pretty much covered some questions here. Again, around the Google Click ID, I think I've covered that. My number one recommendation there, if you are interested in offline conversion tracking, go onto the Google Ads Help Center, search for offline conversion tracking. There's a really good description there on how you can actually implement it from start to finish. And then you can leverage Google Smart Bidding Solutions in order to optimize towards those imported conversions. So really cool, really powerful tool. It's been out for a while. And I believe all lead gen advertisers should actually be leveraging offline conversion trackings. So with that, we're just over time, so we're going to wrap it up. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today for our Academy on Air, which has been all about how we can actually drive higher quality leads for our lead gen business. So we'll sign off there. Thank you very much for your time and have a great day.